Well, good afternoon. We've got two people watching. It's probably me and you, Mo.
We're watching ourselves.
Good afternoon. If you're not watching, we didn't really advertise this. I'm just working with a new little setup for my streaming, so it's a bit of an experiment. Momus, welcome. We met last week in person for the first time. I think we can say we had a fairly interesting and successful venture last Tuesday, was it? Last Tuesday?
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah. And a lot's happened. So we've got 10 people on now. That's good. You're all, everybody that's watching here, everybody that's here, you're all very, very welcome. For some reason, I can't see comments. Maybe it's because nobody's posted comments, but that's cool as well. Oh, there we go. UK United official. Good afternoon. So yeah, a lot's happened since we spoke. Let's start, Mo. Again, how much can we talk about what happened last Tuesday? We can say some things, we can't say others. Let's talk a bit about what happened last Tuesday and how you think it went and how I think it went.
Well, I found out that Richard doesn't like cress, but I do. So I ate all his cress.
I forgot. You see, I had that much beer by the time we got to eating cress. I'd totally forgotten about that. The reason, and just to put this in context for the guys that are watching, the reason I don't like cress is because when there's steak on my plate and there's cress on the plate, there's only one thing getting eaten, it ain't the cress.
I'll eat both. And I ate both.
I don't want to eat grass, man. I'm not a cow. Yeah, so it was a good day. So anyway, just to put this in context for everyone that's watching and everyone that's going to watch this back, what we're doing at the minute, there's me and Tommy and a few others and a few people we can mention, a few people we can't mention, and we're at the genesis stage of a movement, and that's going to be a lot of what's going to happen on the 27th. We're going to talk about what the movement is and what it's going to be and what it's meant to be. But obviously, Harmon, how you doing, brother? I hope I'm going to get to your restaurant when I'm over. Hopefully, you can tell I like food. That's why I'm deciding. But so yeah. Anyway, getting distracted. But so we sat down last Tuesday. We had Lawrence Fox, Calvin Robinson.
Paul Thorpe was there.
Paul Thorpe, Jared Batten,
Jeff Taylor
from Visegrad, Jeff Taylor, Dave Atherton, Tommy, the guy that was hosting it, who again's not really out there. He's called Dave, but he keeps himself in the background. Very smart guy, very switched on. And we had really a seminar and a meeting and a meeting of minds, and all that information has now been collated and collected. And we're hopefully going to come to some sort of rational conclusion, taking everybody's input that was in the room. And I think Dave said it very well when he said, what we're going to do is take the combined wisdom of all these people. And I think it's safe to say, Mo, that people that get themselves 500. Oh, Maya Tusi, forgot about Maya. For goodness sake, Maya Tusi. Maya Tusi's got like 500,000 people on YouTube, which is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're talking about politics and controversial politics.
Yeah.
Paul Thorpe's got nearly 200,000. Jeff Taylor's 200,000. So
Visegrad guys were there as well. Stefan.
Oh, Stefan's got. I mean, Stefan's reach is like it was something ridiculous. We're talking.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know,
millions.
It wasn't like just a few million. I mean,
it was a handful of millions.
So I had channel envy. I'm getting severe channel envy at the minute, but look, I mean, it was good because obviously we've all been thinking about this for a very long time. How can we move this movement forward, save the country? And I think there was a couple of phrases that came out for me, Mo. Uniting the kingdom, I thought was very, very good. It's got to be about civil rights, which I thought was very, very good. So there was and another one that we didn't really drill down into, but I think it's going to be very important. My goodness, when Anne Harris came on, I thought that was Tommy coming on to say afternoon, guys. So we had a lot of really good ideas there, but the idea of leaderless resistance, I think, is a really, really good. Now, we're not talking about violent resistance. Obviously, everything we do is peaceful and within the law, but leaderless resistance, because I think it's safe to say when we look at what happened to Trump at the weekend, I don't think anybody, I mean, even people that are very mainstream are saying this was an inside job. This was people in the Secret Service at
Yeah.
least being ridiculously negligent, possibly being criminally negligent.
I mean, if you're being like generous, we can say they were just incompetent. But there was like more than just incompetence over there, because Secret Service doesn't work like that. This is not our Secret Service. This is American Secret. So
Mo,
they don't work like that.
with my minuscule experience of security
Hmm.
and the military, like there's no way I would have missed that. You don't
No,
miss the roof. You don't
no,
miss the roof 150 meters away.
no.
So the whole thing, it's either Keystone Cops or it's a
Hmm.
conspiracy. And I the way things are now in the world, nothing surprises me with the deep state. And really,
Yeah.
I think we're in a situation where the real enemy is not the guys that are coming across the channel in rubber dinghies.
Yeah, it's the
It's
enemy
the
within.
deep state that's
Yeah.
allowing and encouraging that to happen, that's deliberately trying to destabilize our
Hmm.
country. And I think what came out of that meeting was we were saying, okay, this is what we've got to try and do is bring people together, bring all the good people together, and expose the evil that is lurking in plain sight. And I think one of the tragedies is we've now got, I think we can safely say we've now got this all happened since we last spoke, Mo. So we've now got a minority government. We've got a government that was voted in by what, about 33% of the population, ridiculously low,
Yeah,
low
it's
turnout.
54% of the people who could vote, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
30. No, I think it was less than that. I think it was 33% of the people who could vote. The turnout was 50.
Was it?
I think
I
so.
think it was 54. Even 54 or 30, 50, even 54 is
But
very low,
but
right?
yeah,
So,
the turnout I think was 59%, right? But I think
hmm.
that the actual voter share that they got,
Okay, okay, okay.
if you count everybody that
Hmm.
could vote, was
Hmm.
33% of everyone that's on the electoral roll.
Hmm.
So like ridiculously low figures,
Hmm.
and we've now got a government that I believe is a revolutionary communist government,
Hmm. Yeah.
as the Labour Party. I think it's going to be horrendous what this man's going to do. Um, I I fear for the country with the Labour Party in
Yeah.
power. I genuinely, all the things that the left was saying about Trump.
Hmm.
Well, I fear those same things about Keir Starmer and
You know
his
what
rebel.
I fear the most, right? So I've seen because they've got West Sterling or whatever come out, and then they said there won't be any puberty inhibitors or
Yeah,
whatever they call, right, for the minors, right?
yeah,
um, and people are cheering that as a win, right? Now my problem with that is that they've taken away so much, right? And they've gone so much towards the maniacal left, that they're giving a morsel back, and we're supposed to cheer for it, right? Why are they doing this? Is straight out of the book of Marxists. This is what they do. They go to that extreme, and then they give a little bit back, little bit of bread back after starving the people, so that people can cheer for them, and people become dependent on them, because they're going to be waiting for that one piece of bread, or one slice of bread, from next day to another, right?
exactly,
And this is why I say I don't care what you're doing now. The thing is that you guys believe in it, right? So you might not be agreeing to it right now because you don't think it's a time, but you
exactly.
are looking for the time, right? So this is what I'm fearful for people falling into the trap of labor this much. It's like, don't fall for it. They don't mean it, like, any of it.
No, I mean anybody that's been fooled by Labour. I mean, I'm staggered. I mean, New Labour dressed themselves in the finery of democracy and capitalism, but really, the mess that they've left the country, and of course, then the Conservative Party became New Labour. They just changed the rosette, and they were no different. The policies, the woke policies, the immigration policies, were all exactly the same.
Hmm.
We need a Trump type character in the UK, and I know we're obviously talking very much about leaderless resistance on Tuesday of last week, and if there's nobody there to lead the movement, it's got to be led by ideology. So I've got something to take. This is what happens when you have something to eat before you come on live stream.
But that's why I really like the idea of a civil rights movement. And I know, like, someone asked over here why we're planning in the secret and stuff like that. Well, this is what happens with movement. It's not that much planning in the secret. Like, you have to plan, a lot of people have to come together and to plan ahead so that we can put out something, and it's not stopped before it can start, right? So if it's out so much out in the open at the planning stage, everyone who's against it will have that much opportunity to derail it or stop it or put injunctions or whatever they want to do over it. So this is how civil rights movements start usually. People come together who have the resources of or the thoughts and stuff like that. They come together, and then it will be laid out. It's not as if like we're keeping something secret from the people. It's just that's how it's done. And I think so it's
Exactly.
very much like a civil, I think so. The more I think about it, the more a civil rights movement makes sense, because our civil liberties are attacked, right? Our civil freedoms are being attacked.
They've
So
been
that's
taken. I
what we
mean,
have to
they've
go
been
for.
taken away, and the thing is,
Yeah,
the civil rights movement in America was predominantly, obviously, for civil rights for black people, because obviously
yeah,
they had a lot of, there was a lot of discrimination against them. But I think the discrimination, what people will find out, the discrimination is against anybody who doesn't agree with
yeah.
the state.
It's
The state
ideological
is,
discrimination. Yeah,
yeah, it's ideological. So it won't matter what skin color you are, what religion you
mm,
are. The persecution will come against people that don't agree with the narrative. And when we see the way the left behave,
mm,
not just in the UK but across Europe, and look at France. I mean, France and Holland are prime examples of what happens when the left deliberately try to overturn the will of the people. A majority of people voted for Geert Wilders in Geert Wilders' party in Holland. A majority of people voted for Marine Le Pen. All the leftist parties joined together, banded
mm.
together, and said, "No, we're taking our toys away. We're not playing." And this is the problem, that we've got a situation where the left are using the organs of democracy, and the Islamists do this too. It's not just the left; the Islamists do it too. They're using the organs of democracy to destroy democracy. And that's what's going on here. And so it is a civil rights movement. It's a freedom movement.
Mm.
It's a unity movement, because, again, man, I mean, you know, the reality is that I think out of all the movements that are out there, we probably have the most diverse movement. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I mean, even in that room with different people from different backgrounds, different ages, so like
yeah.
it's
And like right now, we are at a very early stage, so it will take time. And the more the people come towards us and support us, the more will come time, and people will reveal themselves as well. Some people within the movement cannot reveal themselves right now. It's the same reason why some people online are anonymous, right? So if
yeah.
anonymous people are asking that question, they should ask themselves why they're anonymous. There are
Well,
reasons for it, because we all have different kind of targets on our backs. Some of
exactly.
us can come out, some of us cannot come out, but with everyone's support, I think so this is what we're trying to do, right? So the movement is trying to create an environment where people don't have to hide and can come out, right? So that's what we're dealing with at the moment. But hopefully, the hope is this environment is created.
I think the goal's got to be, I think, we haven't, I mean, and again, I'm talking totally off the top of my head here now. So if anyone's watching this and you're in the meeting and you say we didn't discuss that, that's fine. I'm just saying what I think.
Hmm.
Basically, I think we've got to, our goal has got to be to get rid of the Labour Party at the next
Oh
election.
yeah.
Whether that's replaced with Reform, I've massive misgivings with the Reform Party at the minute. It's, to me, it's got a lot to do before we lend it our votes again, right?
Hmm.
But I think we've got to, our movement has got to stay not apolitical. It is a political movement, because it's wanting
It
political
has some
aims,
agendas, yeah.
but it's not a political party. So what we've got to do is build this mass movement of millions of people that agree with the ideology that we're thrashing out at the minute. And I think it's very reasonable ideology. The things that we've discussed, and again, we'll not put those out yet because, again, they're not agreed. But I think what we're looking at and discussing is all about freedom. It's all about the proper sort of equality, like the old-fashioned equality, where
Yeah.
it's equality of outcome, not it's equality of outcome.
Equality of opportunity.
Sorry, equality of
And not
opportunity, not
equity,
equality of
yeah.
outcome. Yeah, the
Yeah.
other one. Yeah, so basically, everyone's made equal in the sight of God,
And
irrespective of
people
color.
can have different ideas, like this is the environment we want to create. It doesn't matter, like it has political points, right? So we
Yeah,
will go after agendas and stuff, but it doesn't matter if you're politically left or right.
yeah,
Those are sort of like center points or sensible positions to take. So it's not as if like we're going after the Labor because they're on politically left. We would go after Labor or Liberal Democrats or even Reform or stuff. If you want, okay, we won't go after people, but it's sort of like we will be for things which can be on the left or can be on the right. It doesn't matter. It has to be sort of like in favor of British people and what serves us. And I think so. Like I was thinking about this, right? Because our tagline sort of is uniting the kingdom.
Yeah.
We want to unite the kingdom, but we can't unite the kingdom unless we defeat this evil that is there, right? Because this evil, like, which is embedded within Labor, it is turning people's head, right? Unless that is dispelled. So the first point of order is almost as if like dispelling that and taking people, waking people up, so that they themselves can reject Labor, right? We don't have to attack anyone then. Like, people can themselves see like what they're about. And
Yeah.
that is the main thing, I think so.
And
Yeah.
I think the it's very, very, very interesting when you look at what happened after 2016 in America and after the Brexit vote. The deep state realized that social media was being used to tell the truth, and they've been using all the dirty tricks that they used. And I'm talking about, when I'm talking about the deep state, I'm talking about the security services, CIA, MI5, 77 Brigade, the Nudge Unit, all these psyops organizations and units and surveillance groups. Listen, I mean, don't for 1 minute think that MI5 didn't know exactly what was going on in that room last week. If they didn't, they're not doing the jobs properly.
Yeah.
But the reality is that is what we're up against. We're up against the deep state, and so
I mean,
this is.
I reported to them, so they should know. But no, this is, you're right. Like, this is the reality. The thing is that what we are fighting is something that is already taken hold of everyone, right? But we are still stronger if we band together. It doesn't matter. It's not an unassailable enemy, right? It's only that because it wants us to think that it is the way, right? They can have all the secret services, they can record all our meetings, they can know whatever the hell we're talking about. But when people rise up, it will be unsurmountable. They will not be able to stop us. And that's what that's the only power we have on the side, is the power of the people.
It is, but also with that, I mean, what we've got to do it in an orderly fashion. You see, what we've got to be very careful of, if you, and this is why it's really important to get the ideology right. It's really important to say this has to be a peaceful movement. Obviously, if our country gets attacked, and there is no option, we fight. I mean, at the end of the day, that's there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in a situation where your country is actually under attack, and like what's happened in Ukraine, you can't blame the Ukrainians fighting. I don't think we should be involved in fighting in Ukraine, but you can't blame them for fighting, because they're
no matter their leadership, they have to fight for their lands.
Exactly, it's fighting for your land. So that's one thing. But this movement that we're doing, the whole point of what we're doing is trying to do it peacefully, in a way that brings as many people with us as we possibly can, and using democracy while we can still use democracy, and restoring, because democracy is being undermined, and it's been undermined since the days of Tony Blair. The judiciary in the UK has far too much power now. The Quangos have far too much power. Starmer's going to drag us closer to the European Union. Well, I mean, Starmer is a Davos man. That's what he is. He loves. He said it. He loves Davos more than he loves the UK Parliament, which is a disgusting and insidious thing to say. And I want to say this. I mean, the people who are to blame for this, right? A lot of people said, "Oh, if you vote Reform, you're putting the Labour Party in power." There's a certain amount of truth in that, but that's not the whole story. The reality is this: the people who are responsible for this are those. And I'm going to say this, and you might be offended, but if you voted for the Labour Party, you're a moron. I'm sorry. It's just you have not thought it through, and you should probably be disqualified from voting. No, that's a joke. That's not democratic. But no, I'll rephrase that.
On mental capacity.
If you voted for the Labour Party, I think you're a moron. That's a better way of saying it. I just go, what are you thinking, guys? Do you know what I mean? Do you not know how insidious and evil this party is? And they're strong words I'm using there, but that's how I feel. And I think what I believe will be borne out in the next years as we go down this road, and as your freedoms start getting trampled, as you see the transgenderism on steroids or hormones or whatever it is they need to take to make the bits drop off and bits grow and whatever it is they do. This is going to be going on.
But it takes time, doesn't it, Richard? Like I know a lot of people who went along with the state narratives around COVID and vaccines and stuff like that, just because they wanted something, they wanted to go on holidays or whatever. And this time around, they're the same people who are voting reform, right? So when it affects people personally, then they see it. It's just sad that people can't understand these things beforehand, and so that we can proactively work against certain things that are not in our best interest. But I think so that's what's going to happen, and that's why I keep on saying people go and read Parasitic Mind by Khadsad. It's a very good book, and it explains the whole problem that we have about people who vote for Labour or Liberal Democrats, or these people who are against our very freedoms. Is because this ideology is working like a parasite. It's a parasite that has got into people's minds and is making us work against our best interest. And that's what that kind of a capture. People really need to read that book, so like it awakens them up,
Do you know what I think? Well, I think the problem we had with that last election, there wasn't a party that was really worth voting for. And I mean, there wasn't a party. I mean, I voted for an independent unionist candidate who's kind of loosely affiliated with Reform because he's connected with a party that's connected with Reform, But the reality is there weren't candidates standing. Sorry, not candidates. There's plenty of really good candidates, but there wasn't a party that was properly formed. Reform was not formed. I mean, it was just, and it's still not. And that's, again, that's why I do have issues. But the reality is this is not about the political parties. This is about a political ideology that we've got to get into people's brains so that they know what they believe in, and they know what British history is. They know what Christendom is. They know everything about what's going on, in the world contemporary and also historically. And they can look and go, okay, we kind of get this. So it's a big education process. So my advice is stop watching Love Island, stop watching Below Decks, and start watching some really good YouTube documentaries that are actually telling you. Start watching David Starkey, and see what he's got to say.
Or at least change the percentage, of like you can still enjoy and watch the brainless things.
I'm only joking. Those programs are on in my house all the time because people in my house enjoy those programs. If you're married, your wife will always watch those programs. That's just the way it is. You can't, but you've got to try and you've got to try and bring people along slowly. But I'm only pulling people's legs. But no, but on a serious note, we do have to educate ourselves. We do have to do a lot of reading. We do have to not be lazy and not just go on, not let other people do our thinking for us, and try and get good quality sources of information.
That's a very good point, Richard. There used to be a time where you would go on a public transport and everyone would be reading a book. I think so. I've mentioned this before as well, right? Everyone would be reading a book or something, or like majority of the people would be doing that, right? Like especially in London and those places. Now that you go, I find like it's usually me who's reading a book and nobody else, especially the young generation. They're either on their phone listening to music or like whatever on social media and whatnot. It just, they're not really educating themselves. The decline, there has been a consistent decline in the readers.
I don't know who this guy is. I want to address this guy. He made a couple of comments. I'm not really sure what he's talking about, to be honest with you, but I just want to address this guy. So, Richard, why are you aligning with atheists such as Carl, Tusi, and Fox? I've never said I won't align with atheists, ever. I've never said I want to align with anybody from any religious background, whether they're Christian, Jew, Hindu.
It's not a Christian movement. It has a Christian ethos to it.
This is something that's totally different. So the reality is, by the way, Lawrence Fox is not an atheist. Maya Tusi, I'm not sure what he believes, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that he's an atheist. Carl Benjamin, I think he's agnostic. So, so I don't really know what 1984 punks you're saying, mate, but listen, keep watching the channel. This is about free speech. So if you make comments I don't understand, I'll put them up. Okay, liberals. Okay, well, look, are they liberals? I mean, the reality is, what is a liberal? If a liberal is Joe Biden, then they're not liberals. So I think these badges and definitions are kind of pretty useless at the minute. We're
Mm.
better saying, what do we believe and how do we codify what we believe? And that's what we're doing at the minute.
Because
Which
even like conservatives don't know what conservatism is, right? Now let's if we
yeah,
link it back to Trump and what's happened with Trump and the after effects of it, right? And the conference at RNC, that the conference happened, right? And they then they gave a slot to speak to Amber Rose, right? And everyone was applauding, right? And Matt Walsh was right in criticizing that. I criticized that as well, and I got a lot of heat for it. By sort of like, well, this is, you are conservatives and you are offering a slot to speak to an active only fans model who has a sale on right now, 50% off. Go on then, Christian conservatives, go in and buy
Mo,
her
you
on.
seem to know far too much about this stuff than me.
I know, a bit too much. But you know what I mean? It's like, well, she only, whatever, she's only changed her mind politically, right? Conservatism is not about politics. It's not about you can have social conservatives who are politically left as well. So these things, the definitions of these things, people have forgotten, and people have to recapture that. So we are sort of like trying to rethink our values, and revive it
Yeah,
by rethink it as well, and sort of trying to bring everyone together, right? And that's the whole thing, bringing
and
people under one
yeah,
creating that environment where people come together, and then they will discover it for themselves. It's not about forcing. You can't
yeah.
force Christianity on people. You can't force anything on people. They have to accept
It's
it
got to be.
themselves.
It's got to be. I want to just address this because we'll go through these comments here just to sort of
Mm.
keep people engaged. Richard B, how can we wake people? How can we wake people up to this issue? Most people seem to be asleep or not prepared to face the truth. I think that's a great question. Two
Mm.
great questions, and I think what we've got to do is we've got to, with people, when you've got friends and family, you've got to do it gently. What was it? I mean, Jordan Peterson said something the other day. What did he say? Tread lightly. He said, tread
Mm.
lightly. Okay. So what you've got to do is tread lightly when you're trying to wake people up. You don't go in, and
Preachy and yeah.
smash their head into a Bible or
Mm.
or slap them around the face until they stop voting Labour. Much as we'd maybe like to do that with some people, but you don't do that with your family. You don't do it with your friends. So really, you should. If you don't do it with your family and friends, you shouldn't do it with anyone. So what
Mm.
we should do is try and win people over. I'm not going to say who, but there's a guy that I would completely disagree with his politics. A young lad, I would totally disagree with his politics, and so I got into a kind of a bit of a debate with him, and in a group, and I took it, and then I took it offline. I went, do you know what? I'm not going to do this online. So I sent them. I'm not going to say who he is or what his politics are, but they're totally opposed to what I believe. And I said, look, this is what we believe, and I wrote him a very long, detailed article. It took me about an hour and a half to write the frigging thing, but I wrote him a really long piece saying, this is what I believe and this is why I believe it. And I believe if you want to do something for the country, this is how to do it, right? And he was very polite. He says, we'll just agree to differ on that. But if I'd have just blasted him, which I have done in the past, to be honest with you, I've and this is where it's a learning experience, this Mo, because in the past, if somebody's said something I find abhorrent, I'll go, I don't want anything to do with you again. I'm never going to speak to you again. But it's probably not the best way to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not virtue signaling here. I wrote the guy quite a long editorial commentary, whatever, and he appreciated that, and he just said, I don't agree with you, but pretty much thanks for taking the time to do it.
We have to take we also have to take lessons from our own past as well, right? From British past, and from just remember King Alfred. A lot of messages that we are trying to give, or a lot of things that we're trying to do, has happened before. If you look towards King Alfred, you can find all these examples as well. And don't forget, like these Vikings came upon us, right? These heathens came upon us, and they did horrible things to the British people, right? All sorts of British people over here on these islands. But still, the Christians extended them the hand, right? And got them towards Christianity. Even the ones who had committed the crime, they absolved their sins. Now, if they would have just said, no, we don't want anything to do with them, their souls wouldn't have been saved.
Exactly.
right? So it's a matter of like, it's a matter of patience, it's a matter of knowing what to do, and it's also a matter of the right person doing the giving the right message to the right people as well. Not everyone needs to evangelize and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
and you
People need
know,
to change themselves first,
that's
and
right.
then lead by example.
And what I think is, if we try, I think one, our ideas are better, right? So I'm not talking. What I'm talking about again is the, the Judeo-Christian ethos, whatever you want to call it. The Western civilization is the best. It's lost it. Look, it's definitely lost its way in the last 50 or 60 years. There's no doubt about it. Had massive problems with a lot of issues that we could talk all night about the things that I don't agree with. But I think at the end of the day, what we've got, the society and culture that we live in is like it is because of freedom, because of genuine equality, because of and also because of the tension between the left and the right that's given you conservatism in economics and some liberal values that maybe I wouldn't agree with too much, but at the same time that's fought for people's rights. So those things are not, though fighting for people's rights is not a bad thing. But the problem is now that what's happening is the kind of the battles for people's rights now have been so perverted that we're fighting for people's rights that are not the mainstream, that are completely off the wall, and it's causing all sorts of problems for the mainstream people. And I think there needs to be a massive I think there's a massive issue here. By the way, I'm just going to respond to this. But before I forget, Brian, I'm going to put a link in here now. Okay. Let me see if I can do this.
And everyone just only go to that link and not whatever anyone else
exactly,
put
not what
inside.
anybody else is. This link here is the only link to give to if you want to give some money to support what Tommy's doing. Okay, so it's urbanscoop.news/support-us. It's there in the thing. I'll actually put it on the screen now. Okay, now the reason I'm doing that, I don't ever ask people for money, right? And the money's I'm not gonna see a penny of it. I don't want to see a penny of it. But the event on the 27th of July is going to be the biggest Patriot event that has ever happened in the United Kingdom, I believe. It's going to be just incredible. Now the problem is, it's going to cost north of £70,000. Last total we got in was 72, and I think that was just for all the sound stuff, the sound guys, the rigging. That's not including the cost of security and this and that and the other. So I don't think there's going to be much change out of 100 grand. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For a very small organization.
At
like
least for the
Urban
like
Scoop
of us, like we're not millionaires or billionaires.
We're not millionaire. I mean, and a lot of us are giving our time completely free of charge. We're grafting, ridiculous hours. We're doing streams. We're doing all this sort of stuff to get this thing really going. So, guys, if you can give to Urban Scoop, please do. I don't normally ask, and if share it with your friends. We've got to try and get this money to pay for this kit, because at the end of the day, the event's happening, and we don't want there to be any situation where we don't have the money for the event to happen. It will happen, but we've got to get that money in. And at the end of the day, that's, like I say, I do not like asking for money, and I only did it because that guy, Brian, I think it was it Brian Voice, asked us to put the correct link in. So thanks for that prompt, Brian. That's really appreciated.
There's a message over there as well from John the Unready. Yeah, he's right. People pay a fortune to go and watch a football game.
Well, yeah, this is it.
You're lining the pockets of people. Like, these are foreign investors anyways, right? Most of them don't care about this country. So, and you're buying shirts for like 65, 80 quid.
Yeah.
I think so you can spare 1 or 2 pounds for.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if you went to, I mean, there's going to be films, there's going to be music, there's going to be speeches, there's going to be positivity, it's going to be fun. You're going to be meeting with people that are like-minded. See, if you went to a concert, well, one, if you went to a concert, you wouldn't have the same atmosphere at a pop concert that you get at our events, because what you've got at our events is tens of thousands of people that all believe the same thing, that all care about each other and want to look after each other. And
very safe environment.
Very safe. There's such a sense of love, and togetherness. You couldn't pay for that. And if you were going to see, I don't know how much it costs to see a concert now, it's about 150 quid to go and see someone like
Yeah.
Pink or something like that. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
crazy, and that's probably more than that. So, guys, and I'm not saying give more than you can give, but if you can support Urban Scoop, they're the ones that are paying for it. They're putting it on. So please, do what you can, and let's get this this bill paid. So that we can make sure that everything. I mean, look, it's going to happen, and
Yeah,
but
we just don't want people to.
We want to make sure the money's there, so that Urban Scoop aren't bankrupt on the 28th of July. But
yeah, I mean,
anyways.
there's very interesting comment someone put, like, the king is meant to protect his people. I think he needs to speak up as he meant to defend the faith, and on and so on. I think so. Yes, that is right. But at the same time, what I would say is, we need to stop waiting for saviors. We need to stop waiting for someone to come in and save us. Yes, we know the situation, what the situation is. Our political leaders are not for us. They're godless people. They don't care. We know that our king has lost his way as well. All the monarchy has lost his way as well. We know about these things, right? So we need to stop depending on them, and we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing, right? What are we personally doing? Because it's not the king that came and forced us to empty our churches, right? It's not the king that came and forced us and told us to break our families up, right? Or like leave children fatherless, and on, all these things, right? Those are our responsibilities. So let's start taking what is our responsibility. Let's it's simple things like just asking your neighbors how they're doing, if they need any help and stuff. The king is not coming in to stop you from doing that, is he? These things, these acts we can do, we can change our lives, come together for each other. Like, nobody's stopping us from doing that. So yeah, I understand that thing. Like, people feel very aggrieved, and I feel aggrieved as well. These are the people who we sort of pay to lead us in a way. They have failed us, but we know that they have failed us. So what's the point of crying about it? Let's do what we can do about it. That would be my message.
No, I totally agree, and the reality is that this has been unraveling of the United Kingdom has been a long-term project, and I think there's evil behind it. I think there's genuine evil. There's genuine malevolence, and it's interesting that a lot of the targeting, a lot of this is targeted against Christianity, whether it's coming from the Islamist side. There was, I think it was one of those Islamists. I can't remember. Well, I do know what his name is, but I'm not going to say it just in case I quote it wrong, because you're not like at litigating. But one of them said that once we finish fighting the Jews, we're going to fight the Christians. So that's what we're up against with the Islamists. In terms of the left despise everything that's good. It's just that easy. They just anything that's good and wholesome.
Resentful people. They're resentful people.
They're resentful, and again, Jordan Peterson talks about this idea of the spirit of Cain. There's this resentment that goes right the way back to the first chapters of the Bible, and it was that jealousy and that I want what he's got, but I don't want to work for it. I just want to take it, and that's what motivates.
And if I can't have it, then nobody can have it.
Yeah, if I can't have it, I'm going to burn the whole. Yeah, I'm going to burn the whole house down. I'm going to burn everything to the ground, and we can't be like that. We absolutely can't be like that. We've got to be. Yes, that's a great channel. History Debunked is have you ever seen that guy? He's really cool. He's like, I don't know what his background is, but he's just a little guy sits there in front of all his books and just does this amazing stuff about history.
There's a lot of other history channels as well. There's a modern history. I like that as well. There's my channel as well, by the way. So I have history stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, give a plug to your channel, Mo, because what's your channel? Just give it out there, because I always forget to ask people what I always forget. Yeah. Right. Okay. This is why I have channel envy, because I never say this. Okay. Like and subscribe. Okay. This is what I'm meant to say, and share the channel with all your friends, and give us a thumbs up and all that sort of stuff. So I never say that, but there we go. Momus, what's your channel? And everyone like and subscribe Momus's, and Paul Thorpe's as well, if you're not on Paul's, because Paul's,
well, my channel is called The World of Momus podcast, and you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, and a lot of other places which I don't even know. I think so it's on Apple Podcasts as well for some reason. I don't know. It's there. But yeah, it's about history and mythology. It was about history and mythology, but now there's a lot of great guests as well over there. I do interviews and I do history. That's what I do.
Awesome. And look, I mean, if you don't understand your past, you're in big trouble. You're gonna make all sorts of mistakes. And the reality is, I made a comment in that meeting the other day, and I said, look, I said you could probably go into the streets of Britain, and people wouldn't know the Ten Commandments. People
No.
wouldn't know basic tenets of Christianity.
No.
People wouldn't know what happened in 1066. People
Mhm.
wouldn't know about the Spanish Armada. People wouldn't. We're going to Trafalgar Square. We should maybe talk about what the Battle of Trafalgar was. I mean, not
Yeah.
today, but at the event, somebody should maybe say, "This is here because this was a famous battle that saved England from the from the French, wasn't it? So the reality is that
French and Spanish. Yeah.
French and Spanish. Yeah, people have got to be informed and understand where we come from. And look, there's plenty of murky, dark secrets in
And I think so. It's like
past.
not just know that, but understand the lessons from it, right? And not
Yeah.
not like read understand history in its own context, right? So the reason I want everyone to go and read about King Alfred if they already haven't known about King Alfred, right? Because the story of King Alfred is very important, because what the story of King Alfred tells us is that this that we are dealing with right now is not new. And why that is important is because we are still here, which means we have defeated evil and we have prevailed, right? The good has prevailed. That's a good history, that's a good story to understand, all these sort of stories to understand that we are still here, meaning that we have conquered these things. And King Alfred faced the same thing. He faced the invaders and heathens in the form of Vikings. And I know, like, people eulogize Vikings because of Hollywood and stuff, but Vikings were no different than Islamists that you have. They were a warrior culture. They were barbarians. They did horrible things to people. They tortured people, and they mutilated people, and they raped and they pillaged. Right, so much like the normal Muslim these days. Much like the Islamists, much like the Islamists these days, right? So he was attacked. His kingdom was attacked, and they had to regroup. They had to go and regroup, and he regrouped. He fought back, and then he put reforms. He separated the Danelaw from the English. He put reforms, and he laid the foundations enough so that his future generations could then come and defeat the Vikings all out of England. And this is the point as well. So a movement is, we have to understand, like, who are we trying to save Britain for, right? We're not trying to save Britain for ourselves. We're trying to save Britain for not even our children, but our children's children. So we're trying to safeguard it for the future.
I think John the Unready there. What an insightful comment, John. I'm loving it. Yep, Nelson. That's Nelson column. Well, actually, let's get it right. Let's just get it right. I could see a day coming where Lord Nelson is toppled from the top of Nelson column, and it becomes Nelson Mandela column. I could see that happening. I could see Nelson Mandela being hoisted to the top of Nelson's column. We shouldn't joke about those things, John, because
they will come true.
We've seen how crazy this country is getting, and with Sadiq Khan in charge of London, anything's possible.
And this is why it's more important than ever for people to read about the history and know about, and not read about the history from the people who hate you, right? That's very important. Read about history from people who actually love this country, or actually know about this country. Because they're twisting the history so much, they're twisting everything so much that for untrained mind, they won't know what is true and what is not true.
And look, I mean, there's always been cynical, evil people in throughout history, and there's always and there's been that sort of great battle between good and evil, and it ebbs and flows throughout history. And I think, I mean, for people that are thinking about coming on the 27th and aren't sure whether to come or not, I think if you're able-bodied and you've got a few quid and you can afford to get down to London, just come, because do you know what? It's going to be part of history.
Yeah.
These events we're having and what we're trying to do, and look, there's no guarantees. Yeah, it's giving people hope. There's no guarantees. This is the other thing. There's no guarantees that we will win this. But I tell you what I can guarantee. The more people that come, the more people start watching my channel, the more people start watching Momus's channel, the more chance we've got of winning. Now, I know the way this game is stacked, and I know that the security services, that the deep state, that vile groups like Hate Without Hope will try and get us silenced in the next years. I know that. It doesn't matter what we could sit and say nothing; they would still try and get us silenced. They, you know, I must find that video actually, Mo. And what I'll do when I find it, I'll send it to you. There's a video made by some Antifa guy. He's a professor in some, only a young fellow, professor in some English university. Absolute vile individual, and he's very straight. He says, "We will not stop until you give up, we break you, or you die." That's that was a wait. When I watched that video, and I must find it. I don't know if it's still on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll post it I'll post it on Twitter or whatever so people can get it. That is their mentality. They will not. And I mean, let's get on to Trump.
I mean, we should actually before that. I mean, we should be glad that we actually not in America and people don't have guns that much.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I like guns.
Yeah. No, actually, like I meant like the left don't have that many guns.
Well, the thing is in America, listen, let's get it right. The thing is in America, the left don't know how to use guns.
Yeah, that's true.
As Trump found out on Saturday night.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't joke about that because there was a guy killed. I mean, that was that. But you know, what I'm saying.
Did you hear about that guy who was killed? Like it was so horrible. Like the guy he saved his wife and daughter.
Saved his wife and saved her. What a hero! That guy's a hero.
Yeah, a man till the last.
He should be the one that people are talking about.
Yeah,
because he threw himself in front of his family.
Yeah,
that's what a man should do, right? A man should die for his family. Simple as, right?
Yeah.
Die for his.
That's what we have forgotten. Not abandon their children, but actually die for them. That's what a man is supposed to do.
Exactly. That's that's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, if anyone ever, if your kids or your wife is ever threatened by anyone, there's a visceral rage boils up in you. That that you can't explain, and and that's what every man should be like. Yeah, every man should be willing to go to prison for the rest of his life for his family or be killed. Yeah, that's the reality, right? Yeah. And
actually that happened within that South American whatever tournament that was going on, wasn't it? Like Darwin Núñez jumped into the stadium to protect his family on the Colombian family. Like I'm all for it. Like he should have been doing that. Like any decent person should do that.
Everyone should do that.
That should be our basic instinct.
Everyone should do that.
And this is what pisses me off about us not actually getting angry enough about the rape of the daughters in England.
I mean, this
should be that angry.
This is the thing. I mean, I mean, again, one of the good things about making those films was that, I'm really glad I took part in that. It was very difficult. It was very harrowing. But you know what? At least we got some form of revenge because those scumbags were outed in front of the whole world. Yeah. And it's very interesting. If they were innocent, it's very interesting. There's been no litigation from any of those men against Tommy Robinson. Isn't that interesting? Because you know how litigious these people are.
Yeah, exactly.
You say the slightest thing on the internet about someone, and they want your house. They want to destroy it. And this is the whole thing. Look what Trump's been through, lawfare. Look what Tommy's been through, lawfare. Look what Katie Hopkins has been doing. I mean, Katie Hopkins, what a lovely lady, Mo.
Yeah, she was.
Do you know what?
She's so nice. Like,
she was funny. Person. She was nice. She was. She didn't have it. She didn't have a. She wasn't like, oh, I'm Katie. You'll all listen to me. She was a really nice person. Very impressed with her because obviously I'd never met her before. I've met everyone else before, I think, apart from Stefan and David. But just some really good people in that room. But I think let's go to Trump. Let's go to Trump. Sorry, I just want to answer this one, Brian. At the minute, right, the reason we're focusing on London at the minute is because that's the epicenter of evil. That's where the darkness is. That's where these lunatics have been parading and calling for genocide against Jewish people and supporting terrorism and promoting terrorism. So that's why we've been doing it in London. Also because it's the center of power. So if we're going to have a movement that's going to take power at some point, it needs to have its main thrust at the center of power. As this spreads and we build this and we get more people involved, we will have meetings around the country. The other thing is, obviously, remember, Tommy is constantly being litigated, so we don't know what's going to happen with Tommy over the next few weeks or months, which is another concern. And again, another real worry that we need to think about very carefully and think, how can we get this? If Tommy goes to prison, right, how can we pivot this movement to, and it will be a civil rights issue, to a free Tommy movement, and in a way that gets millions of people on the street. Now you can't do that by rioting and burning the place to the ground, because nobody's going to come to that. So it's got to be peaceful. It's got to be professional. If the worst happens, and I think it would be a catastrophe for the country if that happens, because I think it will destabilize the country if Tommy's sent to prison. I really do. I mean, we'll be encouraging people to get involved in peaceful, lawful protests.
Yeah,
but
because
some people won't. Some people won't.
The infringement on his rights, people have to think it's not as if it's Tommy focused or anything like that. It's the fact that the infringement on his civil rights are the infringement on our civil rights, all of our civil rights. It symbolizes it, right? So if that happens, then we have to fight in a way that it saves all of our civil rights. That we have to show the state that you can't do it to him, and then you can't do it to us by definition as well. You can't just do it to him and get rid of him from out of sight and out of mind. It won't happen, because that's what they're gonna do to us. Then they pick us up one by one. So we really do need to. This is why the civil rights movement makes sense to me, because we have to take one issue at a time as well. But yeah, you were moving on to Trump.
Yeah, well, Trump. I mean, man. I mean, when you look at that guy, when Trump first came on the scene, I was like, I wasn't sure about him. I kind of looked at him and I thought, is he the real deal? Is he, does he really love his country? What's his agenda? Is he just after power? I thought a lot of his policies were really good, but I wasn't sure about him. I wasn't sure about what the measure of the man was. Right now, I don't care. Listen. I've had people shoot at me. I've been involved with in incidents, terrorist attacks in Northern Ireland. So I know what it's like when that happens. And to be honest with you, you totally crap yourself, right? I could use more stronger language, but it is, I don't care who you are. When you come that close to death, right, it has an impact on you. Now, initially you react in whatever way you react, and then shock and thinking about it sets in. But the way he reacted, and I know it was obviously there was adrenaline, but a lot of people, when bullets start flying or bombs start going off, all you want to do is get down under something, right? So that you're under hard cover. He stood up. And put he stood up, put his fist in the air, and he was just saying, "I'm not going to back down. I know who you are. I know where this is coming from." And he just stands up and says, "Fight, fight, fight."
Yeah, that was a very chilling moment. Like that was a moment like where spiritually people should move, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't care what he has done in his life. I don't care even about his politics and stuff. I don't care even if he's right or left. It doesn't matter at that point. I mean, for me, it's sort of like, well, that's the point. That's the spirit that we need, right?
Yeah.
To fight, no matter what they do to us, to stand up and bloody fight.
Now it was when we look at what happened, again, absolutely disgusting what happened. Again, the rhetoric from the left and the hate, and this is something at the end of the day, we always get the left, coming out against us at demonstrations, and they're pitiful, and they never get big numbers, and it's a bit of an embarrassment. But the reality is, if they had the opportunity, they would take Tommy out. They would take him out. If they could silence him for good, they would, because they know what a threat he is, right? And he's got, I mean, like I say, this demo that we're doing, this event we're doing on Trafalgar Square, it's going to be so big that the left aren't going to get anywhere near us or anywhere near it, so we don't have to worry about them. But the rhetoric and the things that they say are absolutely disgusting. Calling him a Nazi, calling all of us Nazis, it's very dangerous rhetoric. And in fact, I think, I'm very much for free speech, right? But I think when it comes to calling people Nazis, that is hate speech, because what you are saying is you are the lowest, most disgusting, vile, satanic, evil person. And it's also an insult to Jewish people, because a lot of Jewish people come on our demonstrations and come on our events. And to call people Nazis is absolutely insidious,
without evidence, or without a display. If there is a neo-Nazi, right?
Here's the thing.
It's okay to call Nick Fuentes Nazi, for example, because he is one. Like
there are some out there. But here's the thing. But what were Nazis? They were National Socialists.
Yeah.
So listen, lefties, when you're calling us Nazis, you're looking in the mirror, because you might not get the nationalist bit, but you're a socialist, and we know that the two forms of socialism, national socialism and international socialism, because that's the only difference. The only difference between the communists and the Nazis is they were national socialists, and you guys are international socialists. The only difference is that, and between you fill 200 million graves in the 20th century. So just go home, give up, go. We're not interested in you. We don't want you anywhere near us. You know, you're pathetic. As Trump says, you're losers. We don't want you anywhere near us. Just go away. And you know, but I mean, like I say, I mean, you know, I don't worry about the counterpart, but what I do worry about is them radicalizing people to do harm to people on our side. And that's what I care about. I don't care about counter demonstrations, because they never come to anything anyway. But what I do care about is
and they have the freedom of speech to counter protest as much as they want. Like, whatever, who cares? Like, you know.
I'll tell you what, though. Here's the thing: if we said half the stuff that they say, I mean, I've been monitoring their social media. If we said half the stuff that they say, we'd be in prison. I think it's as simple as that. You know,
we will be done for hate speech straight away.
Exactly. This is the hypocrisy of it. This is the two-tier policing that we talked about at the last event, and is still going on. So Trump, I mean, man, I think that was a miracle. I think that was. I've watched that footage again and again.
It wasn't just one time, right? It wasn't just once, because he shot multiple times.
And
every time it missed him, and it's just like that grazed his.
That's like, you know, it's like that. Do you ever see the film Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, is it Jules? It was Jules, wasn't it? The Samuel L. Jackson character. Jules, you know, he stands there and the guy comes out blasting, and it just, the round just goes. It's like they go straight through him. That's what happened to Trump. It was his Pulp Fiction moment. And
the thing as well is, like, if that would, like, the problem, if that would have happened, right, if he would have been shot and he would have died, America would have been in flames, right? Imagine if that would have happened to Biden, America would have been in flames, even near miss, right? America still would have been in flames. But the right didn't come out in America to blow everything up. It just gave them more hope. Like, it's actually made them more Christian, more revive their sense.
I think the thing about Biden is, if you shot Biden in the head 6 times, it wouldn't really do much damage.
He's empty anyways.
There's nothing in there. There's nothing. Listen, there's nothing going on. You know, the poor guy.
But it did come like inch away from the West going up in flames, basically. Well, you know, people would have been uncontrollable.
But insane. This is the frightening thing about this, right? The frightening thing is that if they've tried that, like Neo from the Matrix. Oh man, you know what? We've got to get all these film references. You know, I remember when we were at Telford and I made that speech about, and I quoted Liam Neeson. You know, we will search for you and we'll find you. And Tommy's sitting on the platform and he's going, "What is this guy going to say next?" You know? I said, "And we'll send Tommy Robinson with a camera crew to come and knock your door." You know, I think he thought I was going to say something different. Funny enough, that's the last time I did a speech, but there you go. But I wonder why. Oh man, I see a shop in London opened, London Fatwa Council. Anyone know? Yeah, Mo will probably give you more information on it. But as far as I know, the Fatwa Council is basically it's Sharia. Basically, this is where they decide on Sharia law. As far as I know, that's what the Fatwa Council is about. Would that be right, Mo? Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
They've been around. The London Fatwa Council used to get an audience with what do they call that Muslim guy that was in the Conservative Party, Sajid Javid. So they used to get audience with Sajid Javid in Parliament on a fairly regular basis.
Mohammad Raza or someone who was like that was, I think so, established this, didn't he?
Mo, that is obviously for you, because it's certainly not for me, because these people on this channel know that I'm not wise. So this guy is very wise. That's obviously a compliment for you there, Mo.
Oh, thank you so much. But I'm not aware of this, because I was like, to be honest, like to people, I know about Islam and stuff for being ex-Muslim, but I distanced myself a long time ago because I just became so indifferent to Islam. It just didn't represent anything to me in my culture, or like my culture, values, or anything like that. I just sort of like dropped off from it. I just didn't want it anything to do with them. So after 7th of October is when I have become a little bit more active, because all the warnings that I said, people were not listening, so I just stopped talking about it. But now I see like I need to start saying it again, so I'm rediscovering these things. So this thing, like, thank you for letting me know about this, about London Fatwa Council, because I wasn't aware of it. So it's something that I will look into.
Yeah, well, I'm looking here. It's kind of branding itself as a women's rights.
Yeah, that's what I saw on Google. It's like
you couldn't
really
make this up.
Islam and women's rights.
You really couldn't make that up, could you?
Yeah.
It's a woman's a woman's rights thing. Oh my
woman's
God.
right to stay quiet.
Yeah. You know, just yeah. Divorce or stoning, which divorce this way, stoning that way, you know. But
yeah.
Oh man, but no, I mean, I think what we've seen in the last week has been incredible.
What do you think about Trump's VP choice? I think so. It's really good. Vance.
I think it's great. I mean, I don't know much about him, but what I've seen,
person, yeah.
he seems to be a very devout Catholic. He's an ex-soldier. I think he's in the Marine Corps. He's come from a very, very difficult background, and he's made it fantastic. Whenever I see these people, I kind of go, man, where did it all go wrong? You know. Because these guys are these guys are super successful. I think how can you do all that?
It's because you don't eat your cress. That's why.
It could well be. No, I think if I ate cress, I'd be even worse. You know, my goodness, you'd be asking me to eat soybeans next. You know. But yeah, no,
it's a good choice. I think. Yeah.
I think the VP is a good choice because look, let's get it right. The reality is that Trump is not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And look, he could go the way.
In the next
let's be honest, he could go the way of Biden. He's going to be what? I think he's 78, 79, isn't he?
Yeah. So, this should be his last term.
Oh, it will be. You can't. You can only do two. You can only do two terms anyway. So.
Oh no, they can do 3 terms. I think so. They can do 3 terms.
I don't think they can.
They can't.
I could. Well,
I think so. Back to back. It might be back to back.
You can only do 2. Okay, maybe you can only do 2 terms.
I'm not that sure.
But I don't think you can, because we'd have seen Obama make a horrible. The Prince of Darkness himself make a whatchamacallit. Oh, here I need to plug my. I might have a problem here, Mo, because I'm. Oh, where's my? Do you know what? Where's my? I might have to. I think I'm running out of power on the laptop. Tell you what, if you could just entertain everyone just for a few seconds,
yeah, sure.
I will give you the floor. No, that didn't work.
Huh? So you're giving yourself the floor.
Give myself the floor. How do I get you just so it's you? Remove me, okay? Well, that removed me from the whole thing. Do you know what? I'm going to go and get the charger. Bear with me.
All right. While Richard is out looking for the charger, hope everyone can still hear me. So, what happened with Trump was sort of like an eye-opener, sort of like a wake-up call for everyone. And I think so we should take that as an opportunity to wake up and realize that we need to fight. And he was right to say that we should fight
guys
in legitimate ways. And I think so as well, like his choice for VP is very interesting, his choice, because there were other people who were saying Vivek should be VP, and I really like that guy. He's really good as well. Okay, or you have that other guy from Florida as well. I'm just really forgetting his name. But that guy as well from Florida, and other people as well. But those people might be actually the leaders. So I think you don't put future possible leaders as VPs as well. You usually put VPs as people who might not be leaders. So yeah, I was just entertaining people.
Oh, that's good, Matt. Well, I think I managed to boot you out the channel as well. So again, sorry for that.
They could hear me.
I know you don't get that with the BBC, but what you get here that you don't get with the BBC is absolute truth. Okay. We're not gonna get that blizzard of lies that the BBC pump out and promote all the time. Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting. What's going to be really interesting is when, not if, when Trump wins, uh, what what is our relationship going to be like with Trump and his administration, knowing that how many people, including our infamous foreign secretary, have said such disparaging words about Trump in the past, called him a Nazi and a KKK member and whatnot. How are we even going to, how are we even going to interact with America anymore? It's going to be interesting. I think so.
well,
It's going to be completely confrontational sort of way of talking.
hopefully Trump can do something to well, I don't know,
I think so he's just going to humiliate them, right? So he's going
that's
to
what I would like to
them.
see.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I'm just gonna massage my ego a little bit there. Steve saying Richard is a great speaker, so I'm just gonna bank that one.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes,
Richard.
he is.
I appreciate that. And then there was some. What was the meeting in London a bit like the campfire scene in Blazing Saddles? There was a lot less wind. That's all I'm going to say. There wasn't as much wind in the Blazing Saddles. No, listen, it was great. It was really, really good fun, and
it was good to meet people, because meet people face to face, because you don't usually do that because everyone is busy and stuff. But once you look someone in the eye and like really shake their hand, you know what kind of person they are. Like you actually connect with them properly.
Totally.
I think so.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's a I find that in business. Well, you go and you go to a trade show, if you whatever business you're in, and you meet the people that you've been talking to for years face to face. You've got a bond there, and that's why human interaction is so important, and that's why the state wants to put us all in 15-minute cities and stop us getting on airplanes and flying to see each other, because they don't want those deep connections.
And what was really good is like everyone got along. There was no egos. There was nothing like that, and everyone let everyone speak. Like I was there, right? I was telling that to Richard over there as well.
Yeah.
There were people with these big platform and big voices and known as well, and there was me over there with hardly 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. It should be more if you guys go and subscribe now. But they were giving me like the same space, and that was amazing.
Me and Mo want to be on 500,000 by the time we have the next meeting. I'll still be demonetized, so it's not going to make the slightest bit of difference to me.
Well, but I'm not. So all of his subscribers come to me, make me money.
Yeah, no, don't. But no, you can go to him as well, as long as. But no, the reality is, like, I thought that there was such a spirit of unity and wanted to get something done and wanting to have a really serious discussion. But also it was fun. It wasn't like wasn't heavy. It wasn't heavy. And people were
yeah.
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. Listen, the only person that got his ear clipped in the last week was Donald Trump. That was nothing to do with us. Reservoir Dogs. No, there was nobody tied to a chair getting dismembered. That did not happen in our meeting.
That's the person we can't name.
Yeah, no, it was great. Listen, it was really cool, and everybody really got involved, and it was good. We had, like I say, we had Jared Batten was at the meeting, and
nice
Jared's
guy,
a great guy, very thoughtful, very intelligent. So
one of rare breeds in politics, formerly in politics and stuff.
Yeah, a politician that tells the truth.
And also like a proper gentleman, like totally. Really nice guy. Yeah.
And again, didn't turn out too well for Boudicca. I get what you say, but it didn't. She didn't have a good ending, unfortunately. But then again, neither did William Wallace. Well, not in the Braveheart film, anyway. But look, we've got to fight. We've got to fight peacefully until we can't fight peacefully anymore. That's it. We've got to do our best to try and use what we've got to. We
need to make sure they don't turn us into themselves.
Yeah, exactly. We can't get like them. Yeah. We can't get like them because. I think what we've always got to show is that we're better than them, and that we're doing this because we love our families, we love our wives, we love our children, and that's why we're
And
doing.
people will see this, this is how we turn people by our. This is why I keep on saying people need to take personal responsibility for themselves, right? Because
Yeah,
if we go by, people, if people see us and we lead by example, then people will turn to us more, and they'll see like other people on the left, they're just corrupt and they don't want to be a part of it. And yeah, I just saw on Marble Arch, like someone was waving the green flag of, like, the Saudi Arabian
oh, the
Islamic
Palestinian
flag.
flag. Yeah,
No, Islamic flag.
right.
Saudi flag, green with, like, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah written on it.
Yeah,
I have no idea what's going on in Marble Arch,
it is.
but
It's
as you can see, like,
anti-Israel protesters block Marble Arch, saying they have claimed the streets of London with 50 police officers trailing behind. And this is the disgusting thing about
yeah,
this, right?
yeah.
Because I want to, can I
They are
click this and just do
invaders,
the,
you know.
yeah, I mean, but it's not just that, like, these protests that are actually blocking the road, the police have a duty to basically get stuck in and arrest them and stop being such pathetic wimps. They need to get these people gathered, get them off the streets, and get them into prison cells. Because if you're blocking a road at rush hour on a Wednesday afternoon, you're stopping people from getting home, you're stopping ambulances getting through. So I think that the disturbing thing about all this is the left and the Islamists have come together. The hard left I'm talking about, even worse than the Labour Party. They've come together and they have one agenda, and that's to destroy our democracy and to destroy our freedoms and to crush anyone that doesn't agree with them.
Yeah.
And to me, that is just it's absolutely insidious. So I guess what I'm thinking here, Mo, because we'll have to wrap this up because I'm going to have a steak without cress for my tea.
But look at, like, I just put on Twitter this link as well. I'll put on over here on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page about these people. Like, look at the state of these people. There's nothing over there that even indicates that they are British. These are invaders. These are Islamic invaders, and we really need to wake up to it. No matter how much nice we are to them, no matter how many free homes they get, no matter how many part of our hard-earned money they get in benefits, they will never change, right?
Exactly.
They will remain the same, and they will always want to invade. They are the Vikings of old, and we need to recognize them for it.
Exactly. And there you go. That's it there on the screen. I don't know if you can see that, guys. I've lost it. Sorry. Yeah. So that's it there. Anti-Israel protesters.
Very soon they will be anti-Jewish. Like, they're testing the waters, right?
Yeah.
First,
well, they are anti-Jewish.
Palestine. Now it's anti-Israel. Then it's going to be the truth will be revealed little by little. In pieces. They need to be thrown out. Like, I've seriously had enough of them. Like, they seriously need to be thrown out.
No, they do. They do. And this is, we're gonna have more of the same of this. Because of what's happened in the whatchamacallit funky prepper safe. Okay, I do want to address this. Okay, now what I want to say very clearly, we've been in discussions with the police for weeks about what's going to happen on the 27th, and the police have assured us that they're going to keep everybody safe. They're going to keep any demonstrators away. The police honoured what they said last time on the 1st of June. Our people behaved absolutely impeccably, apart from a bit of silly chanting, which, to be honest, I don't. The Allah chanting, I get why people do it, but I don't think
they weren't chasing Jews, were they?
So, yeah, well, exactly. But I mean, I don't think we probably should do that if we want to have, if we want to win the battle of hearts and minds. It's probably not. We're probably better not doing that, not shouting those sort of things. But like, it's freedom of speech. People can pretty much say what they want, but I think I would advise people not to shout that sort of stuff. That's the only thing that happened at our demo, was somebody shouted stuff about Allah, and who really,
who gives an F?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that was the only thing they could pin on us. That's it. There was nothing else happened. And
but there's also people who are spreading rumors about this. Like,
that's what I want. This guy's a YouTuber with a big following. I think he's got about 100 and something thousand people following him. Now, the reality is there is no emergency policing
Nothing.
response to the 27th. We are doing it completely by the book. There is absolutely no threat of the police coming in and beating our people up. We have, we'll be, myself and Tommy will be speaking to the police tomorrow, and as Private Jones used to say in Dad's Army, don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic.
And look, if the worst happened and there was trouble at the event, I don't believe for a minute there will be. I really don't. But if the worst happened and there was trouble, we've got a lot of security there. The police have to deal with any trouble and any violence. That is their job. It's not our job to do that. And from my point of view, as far as I can tell, there is not going to be anything sinister or bad happening from our side. So if people come to cause trouble, they'll be taken out of the demonstration. They'll be asked to leave. They'll be removed by security, and we've got a very, very big security presence of our own that are going to be there. So honestly, I don't think there's any reason to worry about what whoever Funky is saying.
Yeah, and people need to ignore these people. I think so. People need to ignore these people as well, because there's a lot of this people really need to understand, right? There's a lot of people who are insidious in this way. They might not be left; they're actually on the far right, right? A lot of them have far right intentions and stuff, ethno-nationalists and stuff like that, and they hate us. They hate Tommy Robinson and they hate us, and they want to spread these rumors to tell you like, okay, this is not the way to go. You should be with us. You should be ethno-nationalists as well and stuff like that. That's why they're going against us so hard. We are fighting both the ethno-nationalists and the far right on these issues. So people need to understand and distinguish.
That guy is not an ethno-nationalist. He's got a channel. I've watched a bit of his stuff.
I don't mean him. I meant like in general. I don't know him. Yeah.
I know, absolutely no. But I don't think he's an ethno-nationalist. He's a guy that talks about prepper stuff. I think he's a veteran. But on this, well, what I'll do tomorrow, I'll ask the police if they've been training 7,000 officers for right. How would that do? That's let's get it from the horse's mouth. If there's and then we'll find out whether it's BS or whether it's genuine. And I think that's the easiest way to do it.
They may as well be like, we don't know. Maybe they are doing it without our knowledge and like expecting. But we did our demonstration on the 1st, and they know that it went peacefully. I think so. The police were very happy with the response and stuff, and they've always dealt with Tommy Robinson like before and stuff. All the other demonstration that were had up and around the country, and it always goes peacefully as long as the police do their part, right? Like that always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe they're actually preparing for the counter protesters and not us.
I mean, look. I mean, the reality is, I am not expecting anything bad to happen on that day in terms of, certainly not from our side. And I don't expect the left to get a massive turnout. No. Because they very rarely do. So I just don't think. I think we've got to look at the positives and not think about, okay, this could happen or that could happen. But it's. I don't think it's a massive issue. But I get people being worried about it. What I would say is, when we're at these events, our security are excellent, and again, we've got to trust the police to keep the peace. That's their job. Their job. They
don't be disrespectful towards them.
And we've got to trust them to keep the peace. And if anyone's planning on coming from our side and causing a row or getting involved in violent disorder, don't come. It's not. This is what it's about. It's about building a peaceful, family-friendly movement. That's gonna.
Don't come over there to get drunk or like to get pissed up and
listen. If people want to have if people want to have a drink, we don't mind people having a drink. But
just to get blind drunk and like cause issues and stuff. That's not the place for it. Like because this is we are trying to put our best foot forward. If that's our best foot forward, it's just to like have a piss up and stuff. Then we're not leading by example. This is what people are going to think about us. Oh, they're just skinheads and football hooligans, as they like labeling us. So let's not give them the opportunity.
Exactly, and I think that's the key. No matter what happens, if we behave impeccably and with discipline and behave ourselves well, then it doesn't matter what anybody else does. it just doesn't matter if we do
Mm.
what's right. It doesn't matter what other people do, and what we've got to do as well is and what we've got to do as well is basically, and this is sad. I mean, this is
Yeah,
where Alan's saying that there. He asked his wife to come, and she's too scared in case there's trouble. And I understand that, Alan,
yeah, it's very understandable. Yeah.
but it's sad because the reality is it shouldn't be like that. The reality
Mm.
is people should be able to come to a patriotic demonstration that's about
Mm.
bringing all the people of the UK together. Remember what it's called?
Mm.
Uniting the Kingdom. I mean,
Yeah.
what we're 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 calling it Uniting the Kingdom. What's it about?
Mm.
It's about bringing people together. That's
Yeah.
the whole point.
Well, hopefully,
Um,
like the more that we do this, if people had had worries on the 1st of June as well, and they were dispelled. And I
yeah,
hope a lot of those people who came that day will come again as well.
and,
And
yep,
I'll tell you, like I went there alone, right? So I went there alone, and I mingled in the crowd. I didn't tell Richard, I didn't tell anyone that I was going there. I just went on my own. I recorded stuff, and I was being a spy. Because I wanted to show people how safe it is, right? And it was that safe. I was among all the lads who were wearing the English flags, St. George flag and stuff, because I felt safe among them, right?
yeah,
So if you don't feel safe as well, just come in numbers, come in groups, then and stay in groups, but mingle, but have the security of your internal group as well. Ask your friends to come along with you and stuff. Just we have to show little by little, that it is safe. We have to make it safe. We have to make that environment so that people can actually voice their concerns without any fear.
yeah. And I think this comment by Tony Ball is very good. We have to go forward without fear, like Tommy
Mm,
teaches. And that's absolutely right. I was listening to someone. It was one of Trump's men speaking today. What's the the Indian guy that they were talking about? That
Vivek.
was yeah.
Yeah.
So he was speaking and he said, "Courage is contagious," and courage is
Mhm.
contagious because
Yeah.
I found that. I mean, like I've stood with people in this movement who are far braver than me. You know, and they've stood next to me and their courage has inspired me and vice versa, and so I think be courageous.
Mm.
It's one day. Again, nobody can guarantee what happens on any particular day, right?
Yeah.
But what I am saying is we are doing everything that we can to work with the police to make sure it's a peaceful and
Mm.
successful day. We've got massive security. We've got lots of really good lads there
Mm.
that are not scared of anything. Let's just
Mm.
put it that way. We're going to have tens of thousands of real men there that are so women coming, feel
Yeah.
if you can come because we want this movement not just to be a whole lot of blokes,
Mm.
and I understand why it is predominantly men because a lot of women don't like being in that sort of environment. But the reality is that it's not about that. It's not
Mm.
about trouble or violence. This is a totally different dynamic that we've got now.
Mm.
And there's Alan Russell. I came along on the first, didn't feel intimidated.
Yeah.
Persuading others is the difficult thing.
Well,
That's absolutely right.
yeah, another thing as well is like everyone, it's natural to feel scared. It's
Yeah,
natural to feel worried and stuff like that. And it's not as if like we're saying you should never be worried. You should be worried. You should have a bit of fear because it means that you're vigilant as well of bad things happening. But as Aristotle said about virtues, right? Virtue is not something you just get, right? So courage as a virtue is not something you just have all of a sudden. It's something that you practice every day, little by little, being courageous little by little, up to a point where it becomes your second nature. It becomes a habit. It becomes so inherent to you that you can't distinguish it, but you have to practice it day after day, little by little, and encourage people to do it. Other people see you doing it, they will take courage from you. We have millions of people in this country, and they will see. If you go alone, then people will see for the next time your neighbors, your friends, your wife, whatever, that was fine, and they will take heart from it. And this is how we grow it, snowballing effect.
It's iron sharpens iron, and that's a very true saying. That basically, if you're around people that are courageous and that are brave, you will. It rubs off, and this is what it's all about. It's about basically having people that will stand up, and for one day, it's not difficult to set aside one day. And again, I honestly think that what we're putting in place is to make it as safe as anything can be. Going anywhere where there's a big crowd is always slightly intimidating. But what you got to remember on this is you're going into a big crowd of people that think exactly like you think. You're going to a big crowd that really are your non-blood family. They're a family, and that's what it's all about. I'm a 58-year-old man, never been on a rally before, but supported Tommy from my sofa. My husband took me on the 1st of June, and it was brilliant. I felt so safe. That's everything that you need to know.
And people need to hear these comments more and more, so that they take heart from it, like people understand. So really, thank you, Wanda, for sharing that, because people need to know about these things.
It's a great comment, and again, every demo's different, but just come and see what happens. We need more celebrities being more open to normalize the rational debate. The problem is a lot of celebrities are bought. I mean, how many more millions do they need before they actually grow a pair and start telling the truth, start being honest? I mean, you look at people like Lineker and
we don't need celebrities, populist celebrities who do it for themselves, because they usually just do it for themselves to grow. We need people. We need actual people, and then these celebrities can come along with us, with the public, right? They can be with the public and understand what it means like to be a normal, ordinary person standing up for their rights, because these ordinary people who are coming and who are willing to make a change, who are willing to support us, they are the extraordinary people, not these celebrities who have been given everything now, who have everything now, and they still are not able to risk even a bit of it to stand for what's right. They rather have your children be mutilated so that they can get the attention that they deserve. We don't need such people. We need ordinary people to do extraordinary things now.
Well, that's it, and that was actually that. One of the, I think it was the second time I met Tommy. He said that to me. He said we're ordinary people doing extraordinary things, which I thought, what an amazing pearl of wisdom. And then I found out it was some guy who said it about 50 years ago. But so I went to someone and said, Tommy's really wise. He said this saying, we're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And the guy said to us, yeah, that's a quote from such and such from 50 years ago. Well, look, it is what it is. Imitation is the best form of flattery. But no, it's going to be good. And again, I'm really, really excited about it. And I just want to put this up here, actually. I read Felicity Kendall felt unsafe wearing her Star of David into London, but she didn't want to be intimidated. Well, that's exactly the sort of stuff that's going on here. And this is why what we're doing is so important, because, I wonder if more people had stood up in Nazi Germany. Maybe they did, and maybe they were just all killed. I don't know. That's maybe not a good way to inspire confidence. But we've got to stand up. And I find this anti-Semitism absolutely appalling. It's the Jewish people are the easiest targets, and they're a tiny community in our country, something like 300,000 Jews, and I've got a lot of Jewish friends, and I can say, hand on heart, they are the nicest, kindest people that I know. And yes, they stick together. Well, they have to stick together because of what they've been through.
Look at what happened in the history,
exactly. But they are absolutely fantastic people. So for the fact that Felicity Kendall is feeling that, it's just shocking in the 21st century in England. It's disgusting in London, in the capital city. And I think people that are coming out with this rhetoric. These people on the left that are coming out with this Jew hating, British hating, white hating, vile rhetoric, they need to hang their heads in shame. And I can't remember the name. There's some horrible, vile, disgusting woman that's always on Twitter. She's an Indian girl, and man, I mean, she's just full of it. She's always posting about how racist everyone in England is, and this, that, and the other. Why is she here? If she hates the country so much, if she's got a few quid, go and live in Bali or something. Just leave us alone. Go to Goa. Go to Goa. You know,
Well, most of them are like, Pakistani, or like Pakistani British, or stuff like that. It's sort of like, well, you, you shouldn't be here. Why are you
yeah,
here?
yeah,
Like, if you don't like this country, if you don't like the people of this country, then what are you even doing? And I think so.
yeah,
It's up to a point of, I can understand why most of them are here now, right? Because they're invaders. So we need to understand as well, like, these people, they hate Britain. Why they're here? Because they want to change Britain into their own self, right? We need to start asking now, why are we allowing them to be here, right? This is
exactly.
the next step of asking our government,
But
why do we allow them?
the thing is, Mo, there's no way on earth that this government, they'll probably jail us for asking those questions. That's the
Oh
frightening thing,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why we've got to build this movement. And look,
Mm,
the reality is, this is where we've got to be very careful as well, because let's get it right. There are lunatics on the far right that would say, Mo,
mm.
you're going. We don't
Yeah,
want you
yeah.
here,
They've
right?
said that
And
already.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right. And there's when I think about the people that I know from that are either ex-Muslims or even some people who are still Muslims.
Mm,
And there was a young lady was on Paul Thorpe's channel with me and and Danny the other week, Muslim girl, and absolutely fearless and fantastic what she was saying. I don't know much about her background. I know she's Pakistani
mm,
background, but she was brilliant, and she's still a Muslim. She's
mm,
westernized, but she hasn't come out and said she's not a Muslim.
mm.
So I think we've got to be careful. She probably is an ex-Muslim. She just hasn't said
Yeah,
it yet. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But the reality is, we've got to be careful with this. Yeah, just send them back. Lubna, that's it, Lubna.
yeah. But it's
Lubna.
sort of like,
Yeah,
we need to not be against. Uh, the movement does not need to be against something; it needs to be for something, right?
that's
So
it.
we
That's what
should
I
be
mean.
for.
Exactly,
Yeah, we
exactly.
should be
So
for British
so so
values, cultures,
yeah.
and stuff. No
So
matter who you are, if you're
so
for us, then you're with us.
yeah. So the whole point is, we go, okay, this is what we believe,
Hmm.
and this is what's going to make Britain great. This is what we need to do in the country. If you
Hmm.
don't want to be part of that, well, then we'll ask you to leave.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
that's not a religious thing, or even a necessarily a
Nationalist
cultural
thing, or
thing.
like
'Cause-
nothing. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
because
just a sensible
we,
thing.
yeah, it's just, if you don't like our country.
Hmm.
I don't care if you're white and your family's been here since 1066. If you don't like our country, we'll go and live somewhere else. Just
Exactly.
go,
Yeah,
because
you keep
we
on
want people who,
eulogizing about EU, right? Like, go and live in Europe. Then
yeah,
who's stopping
exactly.
you?
Lunatics walking around London for most of them
Yeah,
were white, middle-aged people with
yeah.
massive bank accounts
Yeah.
waving EU flags every week. What a
So go live
disgrace! How
there then. Yeah,
embarrassing! I used to go and challenge them. I mean, what are you doing? Like, they
yeah.
were just embarrassing. And so anybody that
Send them to
hates,
Ireland.
yeah, that, well, well, I don't
They
think,
can
I don't
leave.
think, I don't think we'd be too welcome in Ireland either, to be honest with you. I mean, I think the
Not
Irish,
right now.
the Irish are standing up. The Irish are
Yeah,
standing up.
yeah. Good on
Um,
them.
yeah, I mean, look. I mean, the Church of England has been woeful for years. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
people like Calvin and Gavin Ashenden have left the Church of England,
but
because
that's why everyone has a Bible as well. So
yeah. Well,
read
this
your
is
own
the whole
Bible as
thing.
well.
Yeah, if you
Come
want
on.
to find out about Christianity, read the Bible
Yeah,
and read the
yeah.
Book of Common Prayer. You don't need to go to a Church of England church with
Mm,
a lesbian vicar and
yeah.
anyway. But
What
yeah,
are you
but
trying to say, Richard?
yeah. But no, I mean, it's I'm getting that tired. The random things are coming out of my mouth. Maybe it's time we bring this to a close, Mo, before I say something to really get
Yeah.
my channel banned. But yeah, I mean, the reality is that the 27th is good. No matter what people try and do to disrupt it, the 27th is going to be a great day, and we've got to be, stay positive. We've got to get people believing in something. If you are constantly going, I'm against this, I'm against that, it's a
Hmm.
very depressing place to be. But what we're saying is, no, we are for,
You also feel like it fills you with resentment, right? Because we
yeah,
start becoming resentful. Then we
yeah,
need to bring like that sort of like a love back, right? We are doing this because we love the country. We're not doing this because we hate the other people. That's not the
absolutely.
overriding
That's
emotion. The overriding
absolutely right.
emotion is the love of the country, and the loss that we feel of it, the culture, the traditions, the heritage, because we love it so much. That's the what we need to bring up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, you were saying my chin's up since the election. Well, we'll see what the Labour Party do. I'm sure I'll have a sad face emoji from
Nobody
time to
will
time
have
with
any
the Labour.
chins left.
But listen, Trump has inspired the world. You know, fight. That's going to be my tagline on my social media from now on. Fight. I love that. You know, he got shot in the head and then he gets up and says, fight.
Yeah.
I just think
It's the spirit of the
Donald.
West. It's the proper spirit of America. It's the proper spirit of the West that just came up.
It is, it's just, it was almost like something out of a movie, where the bad guy gets shot and then he just rises, up from behind the podium. It was, oh man, it was absolutely fantastic. I'm not, is this, Rabbi, Malukiyar, I'm not sure if that's your real name, but anyway, it's a Bruce Lee quote. Is that the one about ordinary people doing extraordinary things? Maybe it is. I didn't think it was Bruce Lee, but maybe it is.
Maybe he's saying fight is the code.
Oh, fight. Yeah, that's a Bruce Lee quote. Okay, yeah, I've got you. Right, okay.
I don't know. I'm just joking.
No, I think that's absolutely right. Okay, JB, listen, we're going to call it a day there. When me and Mo do a live stream, they're never short. But look, we've had some good numbers. We've got 339 people watching, which is all right. I mean, it's not bad. And again, guys, please like and subscribe to our channels. Now, I get no financial incentive for doing this. I just do this because I'm crazy. But yeah, like and subscribe to our channels. I may try and build another YouTube channel somewhere in the background. If I do that, I'll let you know, because it would be great to get money for actually doing this, because it takes a lot of time. It's quite exhausting. But yeah, guys, thanks for all tuning in and watching. See you all on the 27th of July. It's going to be a great day. We're going to absolutely smash it. And the police will be there in force to protect us. Not that we need that. So don't worry. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about the negative people. Don't worry about people that are saying don't come. Get there. Enjoy it. Soak up the day. There's going to be a massive turnout. It's going to be the biggest one we've ever done. As simple as that. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
Make a festival of it.
It's going to be a festival of fun. It's going to be good. Okay. See you all soon. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.